What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Breeders' Cup Draw Show live here at RacingDudes.com. Man, I am excited for this one. I know you guys are too. A bunch of people already signed on. I am pumped for this. This is going to be, I believe, one of the best Breeders' Cups we've ever had, guys. I've spent the better part of last week and the first part of this week, obviously looking at the pre-entries, everything like that. I think from a betting standpoint, we are in for something awesome on this on these 2 days. I can't wait. And so I am super pumped, definitely pumped to be here with you tonight and draw these horses. We're going to draw 14 horses, or excuse me, 14 fields going to be drawn here. I'm going to go ahead and put it up now. I have the lists ready to go. I'll be writing them in as they draw them. Try to give you those morning line odds as well. It'll be interesting with the morning line odds. We do not have John White this year to draw them, so that'll be very interesting to see what happens there. It's going to be pretty interesting, guys. This, like I said, this Breeders' Cup, every race is pretty wide open, except maybe for that Distaff that kind of looks like a 2-horse race. Maybe the Turf Sprint, kind of a 2-horse race. But, you know, other than that, the other 12 races, completely wide open events in situations where post positions are going to matter this year, more so than maybe ever, because you know, let's face it, a lot of years, let's say like American Pharoah's 2015 Classic, didn't really matter where he drew. He was going to win that race. Same with Flightline, you know, back just a couple of years ago as well. So anyway, we're talking now. We're getting ready to get this thing drawn. It's going to be kind of fun to see how it shakes up. They're going to go Friday, then to Saturday. They'll go in order. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes up. A few of the comments here now as we get ready to get going. Yeah, I am solo for this show today so far. I will have some special guests a little bit later on in the show, but as we open it up today, I will be solo. But don't worry, I'll be fine. No big deal there. A lot of excitement in the chat, and I think a lot of excitement for Seize the Gray, the My Racehorse owned horse that's going to try to win the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Will get his post position on this show, obviously, and it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out for Seize the Gray. He'll be one of the more popular ones for sure today as we kind of go down, go down the list and see what happens. Listen, I think every race, like I said at the beginning of the show, is going to be big. I think every race is going to give you opportunities to make money. Even like a Torpedo Anna versus Awesome Result. That seems like the match race. That seems like the most cut and dry race of the 2 days, right, between those two. But let's not forget, Torpedo Anna didn't look great in her last race. Awesome Result, obviously coming over from Japan. Maybe that horse doesn't run all that well, and then you still could get that price. So there's just so many opportunities as you kind of go down the list. As we look at Friday, I think a couple of the big things we're going to be looking for, how these juveniles are just the regular juvenile on the dirt, the juvenile for the boys, how that one draws, I think will really be telling, because you do have an East Avenue. You do have a Chancer McPatrick. You've got Shin Believe coming over. You got Citizen Bull Gaming. Very, very, very evenly matched horses. All of them look like they have star potential. So that's definitely going to be one to look for. Then probably the shortest price on Friday of the Breeders' Cup races will be Lake Victoria. We'll see where she draws. Of course, she's in the Breeders' Cup filly, or Juvenile fillies turf. It'll be very interesting to see where Lake Victoria draws. Will it matter? You know, there's going to be 14 in that field. Will it matter where she draws? Is she just so good that it won't matter, and she'll just dominate anyway. So to me, that's kind of the standout of the Friday card. But again, we'll see where she draws, and we'll see where all these horses get ready to draw. A couple more of the comments. Awesome result could be an awesome result for my wallet. So Curtis Manlow, and I got to ask Curtis and other people that are backing awesome result in this race, are you a little bit sad that Idiomatic dropped out or got injured and retired? Probably more proper to say, because I do think awesome results price really gets hurt by the fact that we don't have Idiomatic. And if you like Torpedo Anna, her price is really going to get hurt as well. So one less horse you got to beat if you're backing awesome result. So I would think that's the good news. But the bad news is, yeah, and as Shadi said, devastated, because the bad news, the flip side is awesome result may have been 6-1 in the Distaff. Now she might be like 5-2. I don't know. We'll see. When I look at the Distaff, as we kind of wait for post position draws, we'll just kind of go over a couple subject tiers we're waiting. But when I look at the Distaff, I really think now it is a 2-horse race between those two. And again, if Idiomatic was in there with Torpedo Anna, then awesome result would kind of be the quote unquote other logical horse that had a bigger price than those two for sure. But I think you're going to look at this race when it gets drawn and you're going to go, you know what? If anybody's going to beat Torpedo Anna, it probably is going to be from somebody internationally. So the Bugler, for some reason, is up on the stage right now, which I believe is a signal that we are going to draw the races here shortly. So this is an exciting day. I really love. I like this draw better than the Derby draw. That's for sure, because the Derby is just one race. Well, two, they'll do the Kentucky Oaks, but this is 14 races. It's the best horses in the country, every division, in the world, I should say, every division. So we'll see what happens here. City of Troy will get post 12. Just have a weird feeling. We'll see what happens there. I think that's one. I am just so overly excited to kind of see how that thing draws. I have been waiting, I feel like forever now, on the draw for the Classic, because it's just such a great race, such an internationally strong race. And of course, our best on the dirt are in it as well. So yeah, who knows if he'll draw post 12 or not. Lake Victoria to be running for purse money only entrant as they're loading into the gate. Of course, Curtis Manlow talking about modern games from years past there at Del Mar. I got to be honest, Manlow, what's really funny about your comment, when I handicapped Lake Victoria and the rest of that field, I got major modern game vibes, so to speak, where I'm like, I'm really confident in Lake and Victoria like I was with modern games. Like Shadi says, though, please don't put that into the realm of possibilities. Don't put that into the atmosphere. That's how you ruin a Breeders' Cup. And let's hope that doesn't happen again like it did the last time we were at Del Mar. That was a crazy, crazy day. There's no doubt about it. As Kevin O says, still too soon. That cost our subscribers and myself a lot of money, because we were all very high on him. Thankfully, Nick's Go won the next day. That helps. Car Ramrod says, got a bull. Not today, buddy. I am by myself, so no bull shots today. Perhaps Friday, perhaps Saturday, as we're live during these Breeders' Cup races. Then we'll be back. Yeah, so this is going to be the bull shots could return there. We lost Slim that day, except he came back again and left, and then came back, and all that kind of thing. He's never really gone. All right. Valley to Peak says Fierceness needs an outside draw. Couldn't agree more. Had a conversation with Paul Withrow from the Fantasy League. Sometimes he's on these shows as well. And he kind of said the same thing. If he draws outside, he's all in. If he draws inside, he's out. So we'll see what happens there with Fierceness with the draw. I think he's one of those that are very dependent on the draw. We've kind of seen what he likes to do. I think they've got him figured out as much as you can figure out a kind of a quirky horse like that. But Fierceness, he's just kind of a free runner. Just get him to the outside and keep him away from everybody and just kind of let him cruise on the outside. He might lose a length or two on the turns, but he just can't have any kind of trouble, or he just kind of quits. So we'll see what happens with this draw. It's going to be big for him, very big for him. Shotty says for every young wins from any post, and boy, we really saw Forever Young take a lot of dirt and a kickback and just a bad break and all that stuff in the Derby, and then get knocked around the entire stretch of the Kentucky Derby, still almost gets up and wins. So that could be true. Shotty, he could win from anywhere. All right, Brittany Urton and Nick Luck on the stage right now at Del Mar in the Del Mar paddock, and that means we are getting close to actually drawing. I will type as fast as I can. It's hard to be able to talk and type and all of that. My promise to you is I will do absolutely the best I can to get these to you accurately. We'll see what happens here, though. No promises, I guess I should say. So Nick Luck and Brittany Urton up there talking right now. So we'll see what happens here as we're going to draw the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint to start. Of course, a newer race to the Breeders' Cup, the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, or Juvenile Turf Sprint, I should say. And it's been a fun one. I think it's been an improvement over the Breeders' Cup Dirt Sprint, Juvenile Dirt Sprint, which is kind of what they started with, getting a lot bigger fields here and better fields, I believe, as well. So looks like a packed paddock there at Del Mar. They're kind of showing the aerial view. If you're going to Del Mar this weekend, you're going to have a great time. If you've never been before, it's a beautiful place. Definitely go up to like the third floor bathrooms and look out those windows because it's a beautiful view of the ocean there. It's really nice. But yeah, if you're watching the races looking at the track, it's kind of a view of a hill and some housing that's nice too. But there's a very good view on the backside of Del Mar, looking towards the parking lot basically. So. All right. Yeah, interesting spot. I tell you, it is. It's definitely a nice. There also is like an overhang kind of towards the. I think that would be the north end of the track. There's like a railing you can go walk on and kind of see there. Yeah, Del Mar is awesome. No question about it. It is great. Okay. We've got, it looks like John Lees and some guy that I don't know that's going to draw these horses here. So apologies to the gentleman that I don't know who that is, but that's okay. All right, we are getting ready to draw now the Juvenile Turf Sprint, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Obviously, a race that I think the post positions do matter. Some of them don't, but I mean, it's juveniles sprinting on the turf at Del Mar. I do think it's going to matter. So we'll see what happens with this one. And they're really taking their time showing highlights. Of course, last year they're showing Big Evs, who won this race from come from behind fashion. Usually it takes a horse to be near the front, but Big Evs he wasn't on the lead, but he didn't really come from dead last either. So, okay, here we go. We're getting ready to draw him here. You want to, like I said, kind of be near the lead to win. So we'll see who draws where as we kick this thing off. Got a lot of you joining today. Thank you. First of all, thank you for joining us on the show. Really appreciate it. And like I say, hopefully we can have some fun here over the next, what do you think, guys? Hour, maybe? I think it'll take a while to draw this. Number 2, Asterius will be the first to draw, and I'm already butchering the name here. There we go. He draws number 2, and he's 9-2. Magnum Force will draw number 4, 15-1. If I misspell these names at first, I'm very sorry. I'm going to type and try to get you the information as quickly as possible. Whistle Jacket is next. He'll be 5-1. Whoops. Again, I will try my best not to make too many mistakes here, but if I do, I apologize. I'll write these down, then we'll kind of talk about the draws once they're all done. There's a Coro Sig. I think that horse will be the favorite, 7-2. He draws post 8. I don't need to write number 8. It's right there. So post 8 for what I assume will be the favorite. Big Mojo in the 3-hole. Big Mojo now 4-1. So a lot of the shorter prices have been drawn already. And no bad post positions, really, in my opinion. Maybe the 2 and the 3 down a little bit inside, but not too much of a problem. Ides of March will be the outside runner at 8-1. Looks like Frankie Dettori picks up the mount there on Ides of March. The 9, it will be Shareholder. Shareholder at 12-1. Pretty good post position there at post 9. William Buick will ride Shareholder. I think that's kind of big news. There's a lot of European or international horses, and that's the one Buick will get on. Jet Sweet Joe Definitely a long shot in here. 30-1 draws post 6. So they're moving pretty quickly. I like that. Got a lot of races to draw here, so might as well just get to it. The rail's still open. It won't be the 5. Arizona Blue will get the 5 here. Arizona Blue goes off at 50, or well, a morning line of 15-1. So we have the 1, we have the 10, and then we have the 11 still left here. The 10 will be Governor Sam, probably the Americans' best open here. Pretty good price, 12-1, a pretty good price. I don't know if that will hold. We'll see. Out on bail, gets the rail. How about that? That worked out just fine. Out on bail now 20-1 on the morning line, and the gate to wire rounds out the field 30-1. So there's your field of 12 there for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Like I said, the favorite will be the number 8 Ikoro, if I can write it, Ikoro Sig, right there at 7-2. So there's your field for the first one here. And now we will go to the Breeders' Cup. They're going to go quickly. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, that will be next. So I'll go right here to this one. And we will see what happens here. They're showing some of the past winners, of course. There's been some upsets in here, like Caledonia Road. They're showing on the screen now. A big-time upsetter. Take Charge Brandy was a huge upsetter. They're showing on the screen now. That horse was 60-1 when she was able to take home this race. So this has produced a lot of long shots in the past. Not to say it does every year. We have had horses like Songbird win as well, but this kind of has produced upsets in the past. All right, field getting or drawing the field now. Looks like Brittany Urton will draw this one, as we'll see what happens. Second race here, and I love that they're giving us the post positions and the odds all at once. I think that's great. So here we go. I said, here we go. There we go. Number 10 is going to be Scottish Lassie, and Scottish Lassie, if I could speak, will be 5-2. That might be the favorite. That is surprising that horse would be the morning line favorite, getting a lot of hype after that victory. So I could, maybe that horse will be the favorite. Non-compliant. Next, the Bob Baffert trainee at 9-2 gets post 7. So non-compliant and Scottish Lassie. Snow White gets the 2-hole. I've heard some people like this horse, 15-1. I'm not sure that's the best draw in the world, but we'll see. Quick Kick gets the 5. So Quick Kick gets the 5, 10-1 for Quick Kick. That is a horse that likes to come from out of it, has a pretty good closing kick. So, if you think the pace is going to melt down. Vodka with a twist. This horse will be 20-1 on the morning line. Gets the rail. So Vodka with twist. Another one I've heard people like. Lacara gets the 4-hole. Will be 12-1. A lot of good prices here on horses that aren't too bad. The 6, I'm not going to try to Automina Sacho. Let's go with that. 20-1. Japanese runner coming over. Of course, the big Japanese runner has not drawn yet. Immersive gets the 3-hole and is 3-1. So it does look like Scottish Lassie is going to be the favorite, morning line favorite in this race. Noonie, Bob Baffert trainee, Speed and Fade last time out going longer, I should say, 15-1 on Noonie. Flavian Pratt going to be aboard. American Bikini, that's the other Japanese runner that is very heavily hyped in this race, 5-1, gets post number 10. And I believe that could be it. I don't think we've got any more. Yeah. Okay. So I can delete these rows. I just put the maximum amount that could be drawn here. So that's your field of 10 for this one. And like I said, Scottish Lassie, 5-2. That's going to be your favorite. We'll go back over these once they've all been drawn, get you the official jockeys, trainers, everything like that. We're just kind of, first look informing people right now of those. So we've got 2 races drawn. We're going to go next to the Breeders' Cup fillies, Juvenile fillies turf. This will be very interesting to see what happens here as well, because Lake Victoria is in this race. Like I said, this is a big time filly. International horses have won this race before, but not in bunches. Usually a Chad Brown filly will win this race, or another American. But international horses can win for sure, obviously. But the Americans have had better luck here for whatever reason. I don't know that that's going to be the case this year, but we'll see the post positions, and we'll be able to decide that tonight once we can finally get to handicapping the actual fields. All right, field getting ready to be drawn here. We're waiting for the first one. I am very curious to see what the price will be on Lake Victoria. Thought process, that could be our best hope. Gets post 7 and will be 5-2 on the morning line. Thought process post 7 at 5-2. The number 12 will be Mayday Ready. Mayday Ready, 20-1 morning line here for Mayday Ready. Frankie Dettori gets aboard there. 20-1 is a nice price on Mayday Ready. See if that holds. Heaven's Gate next at 12-1. Heaven's Gate gets the 8 hole at 12-1. The 10. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how to say that horse. Abbing Tot, I guess we'll call it. 30-1 gets number 10. And Shota, the 14 horse, will be 30-1. Still waiting for Lake Victoria. Totally Justified. Pretty good post positions here. Post position 5, 20-1 on Totally Justified. The 6 is Virgin Colada. Virgin Colada, 20-1 as well. That's boy, I tell you, the 5 and 6 both at 20-1. That's pretty darn good prices. I don't know that they'll go off at that. Okay, Lake Victoria has drawn the rail. So there's the first kind of breaking news. That might be a problem type of thing. I said at the beginning, hey, she could probably draw anywhere and win. It's probably the one place they did not want to draw on the field of 14. They have drawn the rail. So the favorite, Lake Victoria, on the rail here, and will be 8-5. Coretto, 30-1. Will draw post 3. Boy, Lake Vic, that'll be a lot of things we'll be talking about with Lake Victoria. Fury Lucy will be 30-1 and will draw post 11. Yeah, first big news of the day. That'll be interesting to see what happens. Ryan Moore will ride, so we'll see what happens there. Kilwin, 20-1, gets post 9, so just a couple more to go here in this one. Kilwin, post 9, 20-1. Scythian, I kind of like this horse a little bit. Scythian, going to be 12-1 on the morning line and has drawn post 4. Vixen draws post 13, going to be 15-1, and that leaves the 2 hole, the only one left. And we're going to draw the name here. Let's see. It will be Nitrogen, 15-1. So there's your field. The favorite, Lake Victoria, has drawn the rail at 8-5. So we'll see what happens. Thought process will be the second choice there at 5-2. And it looks like, yes, everybody else is going to be double digits as far as morning line odds. I don't know if that'll be the reality of where those odds actually end. But that's very interesting indeed. So that's your field there. We'll see what happens. We will definitely analyze this a little bit further as we go down the list today. As we actually get these fields, we'll come back through them. But Lake Victoria on the rail, first breaking news, major news, however you want to phrase it. So, all right, Breeders' Cup Juvenile will be next. Of course, Fierceness wins this race last year. He wins the Juvenile this year. He'll be one of the favorites for the Classic. So, kind of a cool story there. Brittany Ayrton on the stage. We're going to get the call, not the call. We're going to get the draw right now for the Juvenile. All right. They always are very slow to draw the first one, and then we fly through them. So they always okay. Shin Believe, number 8. I know a lot of people really like the Japanese runners. This is one that people will talk about a lot. Shin Believe from Japan, 10-1, draws post 8. Great draw. Citizen Bull will be next from the 6 hole, another 10-1 shot. So dueling 10-1 shots there from the 6 Citizen Bull, the 8 Shin Believe. Let's keep on going here. Ferocious will be next. Ferocious, if I could type. I cannot type. Okay. Ferocious. There we go. Going to be 6-1. We've got Hill Road. Hill Road has drawn post 3 and will be 30-1. East Avenue, gosh, good Lord. Another horse that I believe will be favored has drawn the rail. So just like Lake Victoria, East Avenue also draws the rail here. Will be the 5-2, I believe, morning line favorite. I don't think anybody will be shorter than that. Back-to-back favorites drawing the rail. First big story here of the day as we go through the post positions. Gaming, 8-1. We'll draw post 7. Man, unbelievable. Number 5, Jonathan's Way. Pretty good draw, I think, for Jonathan's Way. Will be 9-2. 9-2 on Jonathan's Way. A couple more to go here. The 10, Chancer McPatrick. This is one that probably doesn't make any difference. He's going to fall all the way back. Chancer McPatrick draws the 10. Will be 3-1. So 3-1 for Chancer McPatrick there. Flavian Pratt aboard. The number 9 is Ikoro Azel, the Japanese shipper coming in here, 30-1 on the morning line for Ikoro Azel. And then the number 2 Getaway Car, if I could type, Getaway Car, 20-1. Bob Baffert runner, kind of speed and fade the last time, well, 2 times that we've seen Getaway Car. All right, just a field of 10 there for that one. And boy, again, it's hard to really break them down in depth because we're just going one right after another, boom, boom, boom. But the big story's got to be East Avenue gets the rail. Then I'll go back one more race. Lake Victoria gets the rail. Back-to-back favorites getting the rail there with Lake Victoria and East Avenue. That's the major news of the draw so far. 2 horses are going to take a lot of money. Going to have to do it from the inside. Certainly not impossible. But probably not where their connections wanted them to draw. That is for sure. All right, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, the last race of the day on Friday. We're going to draw it right now. Nick Luck up on the stage. I just do it as I say when Brittany Ayrton's on the stage and not when Nick Luck is. Wonder why. So, Nick Luck back on the stage now. We'll see what happens. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. The 12, Amori City, 10-1. 6 will be Iron Man Cal. Iron Man Cal draws post 6, 30-1. Looks like number 11 will be New Century. I believe this horse will be the favorite, 5-2 on the morning line is where they've set this horse. So I believe that will be the shortest price. We will see. So no favorite drawing the rail here. New Century 5-2 from the 11. 14, not a good post here for Tenacious Leader. Tenacious Leader, a horse that gets back to the turf today, or on Friday, I should say, 15-1 on the morning line. Noble Confessor gets the 3 and will also be 15-1. Noble Confessor, number 3, 15-1. The number 2, Dream On, 20-1. So Dream On, 20-1 from the 2 hole. I do love that they do these very quickly. The number 10 is Minty. Number 10, Minty. I thought this horse might sprint, but the first preference was here for the Juvenile Turf. So Minty, 15-1. Fast horse. We'll see what happens here with Minty for Todd Pletcher. All right, the one is, let's see, Satano Carnival, 20-1, a Japanese bred horse there from the rail, 20-1. So nothing to worry about there as far as the favorite getting inside. The Waco Kid drew post 9, and the Waco Kid's 20-1. Just a spots left. Alcurda, 4-1. Draws post 4. Another horse. James Doyle looks like it's going to get aboard that one. There. Keep going. Henry Matisse gets 13. That's not the greatest either. 6-1 though. That's a very good price. So 13 hole for Henry Matisse. Minaret Station. I saw a comment about Minaret Station before we ever even got on the air. Draws post 8, 30-1. So Zulu Kingdom's out there, going to get the 5 or the 7. Seagulls 11, 15-1. Draws post 7, and then there's Zulu Kingdom in post 5, and Zulu Kingdom 8-1 on the morning line. So a tale of kind of two different things. Some of your shorter price horses, horses that are going to get the most action on the outside in this race. New Century, Henry Matisse, horses like that on the outside a little bit, where they're on the inside in the last two races that we looked at. So that's Friday. I don't know if we'll take a little break here or not. I'm not sure, but if we let me keep an eye on it. If we are, I'll get to some of the comments here. And we'll kind of see. I think they're going to take. I don't have the sound on, obviously, because it would be playing into your guys' ears as well. You don't want that. Yeah, it looks like they are going to take a little bit of a break. All right. I'll keep an eye on it, though. I do want to go back and say the big stories again. We'll kind of go over them with Lake Victoria here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Lake Victoria draws the rail. Yeah. Look, I don't think it's the worst, right? I don't think it's the worst. It's not ideal. I think that's just how you're going to say it. We did kind of say, or at least I said, there's only one of us. At least I said, hey, with Lake Victoria, she could probably draw anywhere and be okay. You know, I kind of, when I had that in mind of like about 13 or 14, she could probably win from 1, probably not the best. Just going to have to get out there, get a ground saving trip, and hopefully something opens up for Lake Victoria. So that will be very interesting. As you go to the juvenile, only a field of 10 here. I do think that helps. But with East Avenue, like Getaway Car probably going to go to the lead. You'd think East Avenue and Ferocious kind of going to be together. Jonathan's Way, they're all kind of going to want to be there. Citizens Bull will go. He's just going to have to work out a trip from that inside. That's going to be very interesting to see what they try to do. Do they try to send him? Do they try to sit off a little bit? I don't know. Going to be very interesting to see what happens in that one. So a lot of people talking here. With Car Ramrod, you choked me up there. Car Ramrod says, Minty intrigues me. I just need to figure out how much money I want to light on fire. He's talking about Minty in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Of course, relation to Fierceness. So kind of cool to see Minty and Fierceness both here. It is interesting that, different races completely with, of course, Fierceness is going to be in the Classic that we'll draw here in a minute. And you got Minty, who's going to be right here in the Juvenile Turf. So would be kind of cool, though, if Minty would win the Juvenile Turf after Fierceness last year won the Juvenile race on the dirt. That would be very cool. And for Carr, I think it'd be extremely cool. Rodney says 8-1 on gaming, freaking pipe dream. He doesn't think that's going to happen. He's talking about gaming in the Juvenile. Gaming drew the 7, which I agree. Perfect post. And 8-1 on the morning line there for gaming. And Rodney, I would agree. I don't think 8-1 is going to be realistic. And I think you're right to say that. I do believe that's a horse that's going to go maybe to 4 or 5-1, to be completely honest. I thought Minty would sprint too. I was very surprised when I saw, when was that? They had the pre-entries come out. I don't even remember now, but I saw that she was first, or he, excuse me, his first preference for the Juvenile Turf. I was pretty surprised, but I don't know. That was interesting. How many TDs does Daniel Jones get tonight? Probably. Let's hope 1. Let's hope he can get the first one, and then we'll see. Maybe we'll break down the game after that. All right. Well, let's get going. Let's get back to it. Brittany Ayrton on the stage now, and I believe we are going to draw the, if I could hit the right button, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint is my guess. This is what we'll draw next. We shall see. Oh, listen, I need him to do well tonight. And I'm not going to explain why. It's too long and I'm busy at the moment, but I need him to do well tonight. So hopefully he gets a few. All right, here we go. Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. Bar of Gold, of course, a winner of this race at a nice price. We've had CC, a big upset. That year was kind of a big upset. We beat Gamine there at Del Mar. So we've had some decent winners, and of course, we've had some shorter prices as well. Goodnight Olive last year just dominated this race. So I don't see a superstar in this one, but we could be surprised. Okay, here we go. Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint to kick off Saturday. Gosh, what a day. We'll have these first 5 races. Like, damn, this really is going to be good. Everybody is here that we want to be here. All right, here we go. Finally, we're to it. Like I said, they get me excited. They say, real quick, here we go. And then they talk for a minute. But now we're getting going here. And the number 1 will be Frost at Dawn. Frost at Dawn, 30-1 on the morning line. Frost at Dawn, first to draw. The number 3 will be Pleasant, 12-1. The number 8, Soul of an Angel, 12-1. Some longer prices drawing first here. The number 7 will be Zetlos. And 6-1. Steve Asmussen runner, won last time out at Keeneland. 1 at Magic Filly will be number 2. And she's 10-1. Number 10 is Cilia. 10-1. Ooh, 10-1. Holy cow. Okay, I like that. Surely that's not going to happen. 10-1 on the 10. All right, the 4 is Vava. Vava number 4 and 4-1. So Society, I guess, will be the favorite based on these odds I'm seeing so far. Could be surprised, but Vava 4-1. 5 is going to be Pandora's Gift, and that horse will be 30-1. Just a couple left here. The number 6 is Society, and Society will be your morning line favorite. 3-1 on Society. Of course, a winner last time out against Cilia and Vava. The number 9, Ways and I'm sorry. The number 9 is Ways and Means, and that horse will actually be the favorite. Ways and Means be 5-2 as Chad Brown looks to win this race again after winning it with Goodnight all of the last few years. So field of 10 for this one. No surprise, a little bit shorter of a field. Not a bad race, but there it is. Field of 10 right there. Your favorite will be Ways and Means. Ways and Means. And I totally forgot about Ways and Means. So 5-2 on that one. All right, Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint next. This is going to be a fun one. Cogburn against the world. That's basically what this feels like. We know he can beat these horses in the United States. We've seen him do it several times. But boy, there's some nice international horses that are come over and try to beat Cogburn. We'll see if he can pull a Golden Pal and take him gate to wire, or if he gets caught. We'll see what happens with Cogburn. Let's see where he draws first, though, before we get too excited. Let's see where they put him on the morning line. Where does Cogburn draw? Where does Bradsell draw? I think that's the two big things that we're going to find out here in just a second. And, how's that going to shake out? Where's the other speed? Is Cogburn inside of it, outside of it? I think those are important questions. You can probably tell I'm a little nervous because he is my favorite horse. When it comes to rooting for a horse, I root for him over about anybody. All right, field of 12 coming up here for the Turf Sprint. And we're getting ready to draw here. I think with Cogburn, it doesn't really matter where he draws. If he's good enough, he should be able to do it. But we'll see. I didn't. For some reason, the graphic came up and then they put it away. So I'm on a little bit of a holding period here. Nick Luck talking about something. But the fun fact for the new listeners, I rode Cogburn in his maiden race. No, that's not true. That's not true. I did know about Cogburn before his maiden race, but not because I rode him, because somebody told me. Christopher says Cogburn doesn't matter. Post 310. He's going to drill these horses. Okay, the graphics back up. Here we go. We'll see what we do here. There it is. Number 12 is Bradsell. So Bradsell right there, that's one we were talking about. Bradsell draws the outside 12 hole here. 7-2, Doyle to ride. Notorious is next. We'll draw post number 2 and is 8-1. 7 is Howard Wolitz. And that horse will be 30-1. Arzak draws post 3. Arzak 30-1. That horse has lost form. Boy, Bradsell on the outside. That's, I don't know. Big Invasion. Nearly got it for me last year. Oh, heartbreaker. Good thing I did have no balls as well. But Big Invasion 20-1. The 10 is the horse I cannot even begin to try to pronounce that name. And I am, oh man, I am totally. I'm gonna go back to this 4. It'll take me forever to even write it. Starlust is the 4 at 30-1. The 5 is AG Bullet. AG Bullet 10-1. Keep going here. The 11 is Big Evs, and Big Evs, boy, how impressive was Big Evs last year? We talked about that horse in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Really, really awesome. 12-1 here draws the 11. Cogburn did get post 9. That is a perfect post for Cogburn, so no worries there. And he is 7-5. That's the shortest we've seen yet. 7-5 on Cogburn. Star of Mystery will be next. 10-1 on Star of Mystery. And then the only one left on the rail, and I'll go back and type in the 10 here, but Believing 12-1. Ryan Moore gets on Believing. Okay, let's see if I can write this. Okay, 20-1 there on that one, and that is butchered, but I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for Samich to pronounce the 10. Yeah. All right, we'll keep going now. Like I said, we are going to come back. I'll have a guest or 2 here shortly, and we will go back and look over these fields. We're just kind of announcing them now. We go to the Distaff, and like I said, this was a big time match race, and now we'll see what happens here with kind of idiomatic out. I don't know. It's kind of a downer, but still you get to see Torpedo Anna against awesome result. That's still pretty darn good to me. Okay, here we go. We've got the Distaff coming up next. Yeah, man, that is a good post for Cogburn. I think Christopher says it. I do think that's really, really, really good. I would really, if I had to get, or if I had to like pick a spot for Cogburn, 7, 8, or 9 would have been probably where I would have went, even maybe 10. But yeah, that's really good. I'm pleased with that, and that gives him options. If he gets to the front, just take it. If horses are going crazy inside of him, he can set off the pace a little bit. Anyway, enough about Cogburn. Breeders' Cup Distaff is next. We've turned the page. Honor Delady is the first to draw. 30-1 post 7. Honor Delady. Sugarfish will draw post 5 and will be 20-1. The number 4, Alice Verite, yeah, something like that. 30-1. The number 1 will be Candied. 15-1 on Candied. So a bunch of long shots drawing. And that means we still have the 2 big ones left to draw. I don't know that it's going to matter a whole lot, but it might. The number 8, Miss New York, 20-1. I think for Torpedo Anna. Oh, there she is. Torpedo Anna draws post 2. I don't think it's, it is what it is. It's probably would rather have a little bit more of an outside post, but she should be okay from post 2. 4 to 5 on the morning line, by the way, for Torpedo Anna. That will definitely be the shortest of the Breeders' Cup, without any doubt. Torpedo Anna, 4 to 5, has drawn post number 2. Number 9, that's the other horse everybody really loves in this race. Also, awesome result. Draws post 9, 4 to 1. Who won the draw? I think awesome result over Torpedo Anna. As far as who won the post draw, I would rather be in the 9 than the 2, but will that matter too much? Who knows? Che Evarosa, 30 to 1. Let's see. I totally butchered that one. 30 to 1. Raging Sea has drawn post 6. Raging Sea will actually be the second choice. Raging Sea, 7 to 2. I don't know if that'll actually be what happens, but that's what they say. Batacata, if I could talk, 20 to 1. And I believe that's the field. I don't think we've got more than 10 for this one. Yeah, correct. So that's your field of 10 there. I will delete these for you guys. Let me go back over them. So there's your field of 10. 4 to 5, Torpedo Anna. 7 to 2, Raging Sea. 4 to 1, awesome result. Everybody else over that 10 to 1 or higher range there. Torpedo Anna, 4 to 5. That's probably accurate. I would say that's probably about right. I do think awesome result might go off a little bit shorter than Raging Sea, but you can debate it. It doesn't really matter, I guess. They'll go off where they go off. But I do think, with awesome result, Raging Sea, those are your alternatives, and they're probably going to be around that 3 to 1, 4 to 1 type of range. So, all right, we'll turn the page here. The Breeders' Cup Turf. Just real quickly, I think if Idiomatic would have been in it, it would have been more like, 6 to 5, 9 to 5, and then maybe 5 and 6 to 1 on that Raging Sea awesome result. So a couple clicks on the tote board, it probably cost you for sure. All right, field of 14. I'm assuming it might be a little less than that, but we'll keep going now. 14 can run, I should say that. So getting ready to draw it. The number 8 is Cabo Spirit. Cabo Spirit, 30 to 1. I should probably do that. Okay. Wingspan. Wingspan will be number 10. Wingspan, 15 to 1. $15 to 1 on Wingspan. Number 9, I did not see that horse's name. El Encinal, 30 to 1. Gold Phoenix, number 12. 15 to 1. El Encinal, 30 to 1. Number 9. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, Luxembourg. 12 to 1. That's a good price. That horse is pretty darn good. 12 to 1, a good price. Ryan Moore will be aboard. Number 11, Rebels Romance. I would assume that's the favorite. 5 to 2 on Rebels Romance. Of course, won this race in 2022. Last year fell off form. This year back in form. So Rebels Romance, 5 to 2. Shariar, let's see, will be post number 3, 10 to 1. Another really good price. So there's some good prices in here as well. Horses that I kind of like. There goes Harvard, not one of those ones that I like, but gets post 13 and will be 30 to 1. Number 6 is Far Bridge. Boy, this horse has gotten hot. Really a great couple of races for Far Bridge. 6 to 1 from post 6. JRB gets post 5 and will be 4 to 1 for JRB. Just a few left here. We're waiting. Number 1, Rosham Park. Rosham Park, 20 to 1. Number 2, Emily Upjohn. Emily Upjohn, 5-1. I thought that horse was going to be in the filly and mare. Maybe I misread that. Anyway, Emily Upjohn, 5-1. Frankie Dettori gets aboard. Oh, that's right. She switched late. I remember that. Never mind. Ignore me. Grand Sonata, 20-1 for Grand Sonata, number 7. And I believe that's it. Yep, that's going to be your field of 13 for the Breeders' Cup Turf. Like I said, favorite going to go to Rebels Romance. JRB going to look like the second choice. Emily Upjohn, third. Far Bridge, fourth choice there. So, boy, that looks like just a fantastic race. All right, Breeders' Cup Classic. All right, here we go. This is going to be fun. It's going to be last year, the Breeders' Cup Classic was not a race. It was just overall amazing. So they ran it kind of in the middle of the card and you're like, yeah, that's fine. This year, this really feels like this should be the last race. It's not. It's whatever. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm excited about it either way. I think post positions really, really matter in races where you think you got 5 or 6 that are close. And I think that's what we have here. So I am, this is the one I've been most excited for all night. I can't wait. I'm ready for him to draw it and let's do it. Let's run the race. So you got to pick your poison in this. As far as handicapping goes, there's a lot of different angles. They're not normal angles, I would say, for a Breeders' Cup Classic. It kind of has an old school feel to it. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. All right. The anticipation builds for this one. This is kind of what we've all been waiting for all night, I feel like. So we'll see who gets what. Okay. Oh, man. You got to be kidding me. Okay. I don't know what happened, but the stream just went out. Only in horse racing. The stream has just went out. I can tell you that next drew number 14. I cannot tell you his odds because the stream just went boom and cut out. I'm going to move over right now to FanDuel TV and see if maybe their stream did not cut out, even though I'm 99.9% sure they're pulling from the same. No, maybe they're back. No, FanDuel TV is still going. Okay. So Magic saves us. Magic probably did it. All right. Next has drawn the 14. He's 8-1. And I'm going to try to catch up here very quickly. The 10 is Tap at Trice. Tap at Trice is 30-1. The 12 will be Arthur's Ride. Arthur's Ride 15-1. And now we're caught up. Woo! How about that? And all of a sudden, the stream here just jumped up like 300 people because everybody's coming to us that was watching on YouTube. So I'll keep you guys updated. Welcome all the new people. 3-1 on Fierceness. He will break from post number 9. I switched over to FanDuel TV. They do have it on. If you do want to watch television coverage and you have FanDuel TV, you're not going to break my heart. You can go watch it. But crazy as the YouTube feed cut out. Mixto is next. 30-1. Mixto will leave from post 4. Post 4, Mixto, 30-1. That was incredible that the feed cut out. only in racing that the feed come out. Everybody, welcome that just left the Del Mar feed. We're not cutting out over here. Ushpa Tesoro will be next. Ushpa Tesoro, 12-1 will break from post number 7. Ushpa Tesoro bucked the exercise rider off today, kind of had some issues, but he's still here, and he's going to break from post number 7. Number 5 is Senor Buscador, 30-1. 30-1 on Senor Buscador. And who would have thought it? He's fallen off form, but man, at one time you thought, man, he may win the Classic this year when he was running so well internationally. Just has not ran well of late, but he'll give it a shot. City of Troy, there's City of Troy. He's drawn inside. He will be post number 3. Post number 3 for City of Troy, 5-2.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? I'm here just in time, looks like.
All right. Well, I've got my flow here where we've had something hilarious happen. I'll tell you about it here in a second. But
okay, can't wait.
The Del Mar feed cut out, and so
Of course it
Right
did.
when they were drawing this. Okay, Forever Young will be next. Forever Young next here at 6-1. So 6-1 on Forever Young. He gets the rail. That's not the greatest for Forever Young. Yeah, once again, welcome into. We have a ton of new viewers in right now because of that Del Mar feed cutting out. Welcome to Racing Dudes. We don't cut out here. We will be here for the remainder of the draw as well. So
what was it before the cutout? Like, how many people did you have in here compared
we had
to
about
what
1,000.
So you basically doubled it up. Nice.
Yes. Okay. Newgate has drawn post 13. Newgate post 13 will be 20-1. Frankie Dettori riding there for Bob Baffert. So Newgate draws all the way towards the outside. Fierceness still left in the draw here. You don't want 2. You probably don't want 6. The other 2 posts would probably be okay for Fierceness. Sierra Leone has drawn post 11. Sierra Leone post 11, 12-1. So the 2, the 6, and the 8. I don't think you want the 2 if you're Fierceness. So this is going to be interesting. A lot of intrigue here. And once again, thanks for joining us, everybody. That the Del Mar feed has cut out. Thanks for everybody come over here.
That's hilarious. That's so horse racing. Okay.
The number 8 is Pyrenees. I know. Pyrenees comes in at 30-1. 30-1 on Pyrenees. I may never get that one right. Let's see. There we go. All right, 2 to go here. The 2 and the 6.
Look at the field too. A full 14. I mean, that's just insane.
Derma Sotagake, 20-1, wow. And that will leave Fierceness drawn in the inside at the 2 hole.
You got Fierceness at number 9.
See, this is all the fault of well, that's great news for Fierceness. He drew right when they had to switch, so I missed Fierceness essentially.
No, you're good.
Highland Falls number 2. So that works. Fierceness at 9. That's perfect. So there's the field there. We will be back in order now after the snuff by Del Mar. Had to go to FanDuel TV quickly to recover. And of course, it happens during the Classic, not the other 9 that we've already drawn. So
Highland Falls, not Halls, just to help you out there. But okay, couple takeaways real quick. Aiden had said they wanted to be a little drawn outside. So that's not awesome for City of Troy, but he is 5-2 favorite. Fierceness at 3-1. I mean, it's a little surprising too that I guess that next is 8-1. That just shows you the hype that they believe that he's going to have. So, but past that, man, it's all over the place.
It's crazy. It's going to be quite the race. They're still not drawing yet for this one. So, yeah, I think next at the 14 hole, probably not the best. I think Fierceness drew well, perfect. I think City of Troy, I don't think that's ideal, but I think he can win from there. So, yeah, I think Forever Young drawing the rail is not ideal for him at all. It's a close race, so post positions really matter, I think, in that regard. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how it breaks. I think Fierceness won the draw.
Fierceness is in a perfect spot. Yeah.
Yep.
No question about that. I mean, when you got speed out of the gate, you typically, post position's not going to matter too much, but certainly does not hurt where he's at.
All right, number 8 will be Hang the Moon. Hang the Moon 10-1 here as they draw the filly and mare turf. Hang the Moon 10-1. Number 4, Warlike Goddess. Warlike Goddess, number 4 at 5-2. Bill Mott said she's training better than ever heading into this race. I thought that was interesting this morning, reading that on the Daily Racing Forum. So she looks fantastic. Sunset Glory will be number 13 at 30-1. Again, Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf. Awfully odd to have races after the Classic, but that's how it's going to be.
Got several.
Yep. Cinderella's Dream going to be 4-1, breaking from post 3. Decent spot.
I hate Warlike Goddess at 5-2. Like hate.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty short. Full Count Felicia 12-1. We'll draw post 2. I thought 5-2 was very short on Warlike Goddess. Sopranos next. Sopranos going to be 20-1. Boy, thankful for FanDuel.
Yeah, no kidding.
Beautiful Love will be next. Beautiful Love, 20-1.
All right.
Beach Bomb has drawn post 11. Beach Bomb, 20-1. So who's taking money in this race?
I mean, so the 5-2 is insane over Cinderella's Dream at 4-1. But
I agree. Didia is 12-1. She's drawn post 5. She's kind of fallen off form, but at one time you'd think she's got a chance. Moira, 8-1, has drawn post 10. Looks like 3 to go here. 6, 7, and 9. Yang Lang is 10-1. 2 to go here. The 9 and a set. 15-1.
so Emily Upjohn, is that going to be bet hard then, I guess?
Emily Upjohn actually is running in the boys race.
Oh, after took the second preference, huh? Okay.
Yes, they changed their mind.
Wow.
On Emily Upjohn. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So Content draws the 7 at 6-1. I believe that's it. So tell me that race isn't completely wide open.
I mean, if I can get 4-1 on Cinderella's Dream, I mean, over Warlike Goddess at 5-2, I wouldn't play 5-2 on Warlike Goddess with Sandwich's money. Oh, speaking of, what do you know?
Hey, what's up, boys?
What's
Hello.
up?
Happy draw day here.
Yes, we've had some drama, but we're doing just fine.
That last race is crazy wide open. I'm sitting here hoping to play Emily Upjohn, who's not in the race, or Wingspan, who's not in the race, and so now it's like, all right, we've got to reassess that one.
Same. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I love one of those two. And
But Warlike got us way too short at 5-2 to play.
Way too short. Yeah. I just looking at it, I thought the 7 at 6-1 makes sense. Myra makes sense at 8-1. Yeah, there's places you can go. All right, here we go. Breeders' Cup Sprint.
oh gosh, yeah.
Up
Speaking
next.
of wide open,
Whew, 3 to go.
It feels like a lot of these races are very wide open.
Straight No Chaser, 5-1. Will get post 8. So there's a My Racehorse horse there, post 8 for the number, or for Straight No Chaser, 5-1. Number 3's Federal Judge, 3-1.
so who's going to be the favorite of this race? What's your guess? Is it?
I think it's going to be a lukewarm Federal Judge.
It could be. Yeah. The 4's Nakatomi,
What are we getting on remake?
6-1. Stay tuned. You're going to find out.
You're doing a great job.
There's so many Japanese horses this year. It's incredible.
19 Japanese runners. It is unbelievable. Skelly is next. He gets post 11 at 8-1. Yeah, it's every race has got Japanese horses in it pretty much. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nothing like a couple curveballs on Breeders' Cup Day.
Yes, Don Frankie.
And they're going to win a couple. So
Right.
then you just got to figure out which ones.
You set the over under at 2.5.
I think I would. That's
I'd go
the
over.
right. I think that's the right number.
It's the right number.
I think it's 2 or 3.
It depends if City of Troy wins the Classic, because if not, you got to think that one of the 2 or 3 Japanese horses have a good shot there.
I would agree. Mulligan, I should say, 7-2. Mulligan at 7-2, post 10 for Mulligan. So it looks like Sandwich Federal Judge the favorite as of now. I don't think we're going to get anybody that's going to outdo it. We'll see though. Here's Remake, Jared. Remake gets post 9, 8-1.
Ooh, okay. Like that.
I also think it could be a day where you're all over Remake and Don Frankie wins. You know?
Yeah,
The remake finishes second to Don Frankie.
Yes,
exactly.
it has happened before.
It has. Metamax 20-1 gets post 7.
Another Japanese horse. Stepping up in class a little bit.
Yeah, Metamax. Okay, a few more to go here. The 6 is next. Ben Tornado, 30-1.
This is a race that, I guess Domestic Products going to run. I was going to say, this is a race that he's going to win, but he's running the dirt mile.
Yeah, he would be in the dirt mile. Gun Pilot draws the 2.
It's a good spot for him.
And Gun Pilot's 20-1. Christian Torres aboard. Yeah, this is another one. It just feels like we got an upset written all over it. And then finally, Raging Torrent, going to be 10-1, draws the rail.
With the way they had this set up now, with the Classic being, the beginning or middle, I guess, like the way these races are going to end with the multi races are just going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be this. The late one's going to be harder than the early one or the middle one.
Yeah. Like the middle one, you might be able to get away with some chalk, as far as single, if you really have a strong opinion, whether it be in the turf or the Distaff, obviously. But man, try telling me that you can like really feel good about going like too deep. That's it, and that one or the one before that.
This one isn't any easier.
Yep. This might be the hardest one. Breeders' Cup Mile next. Boy, we've had some good ones. Space Blues are showing. Of course, we call these Space Balls on our show many times. We've seen some World Approval. We've seen so many good horses running this race. Modern Games came to Keeneland and won a couple of years ago. So this is always one of the more fun races of the Breeders' Cup.
I tell you what. So
you guys think there's going to be any weather in Southern California?
Is there supposed to be?
No, it's good. San Diego. It's always 75 and sunny.
It's going to be
well,
sunny.
The way you said that, I thought, am I missing something?
I don't know that anytime I've ever been to Del Mar, I've ever seen a cloud. Actually, I don't.
Few and far between.
I mean, seriously, it's always perfect. And this time of the year is, especially when you're, living in the Midwest. Well, of course, here it's been hot, but most of the time it's actually nice compared to where we've been. But I don't know if you guys saw this while you're going through Notable Speech, like Appleby, he specifically is like, if we get a good draw, like this horse is going to be hard to beat. Like he loves Notable Speech. I mean, from what I kind of gathered from the quotes, he like Notable Speech, he truly believes, and obviously he's won this race.
You know who's riding Notable Speech?
I think Buick.
Is it Buick?
I think so.
I wasn't sure where he was landing.
I think.
Hold on about 2 minutes. We're going to have the answers to those questions and more as we're drawing the race.
8-1 on Diego Velasquez.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Ramatuli 5-1 gets the rail. Diego Velasquez 8-1 for Goliad. The 5 at 20-1 more than looks. The 8 at 20-1, and now win for the money 30-1 in post 10. That's what we've got so far. There's Carl Spackler. He gets an outside draw here.
Not ideal for him.
No, 6-1 for Carl Spackler. Post 12.
Who is doing the morning lines this year with no John?
I would imagine it's Jeff Siegel.
A lot of hate in the comments from the morning lines.
This has to be one of the hardest races to make the morning lines, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll be right back. The sun's killing me.
Notable Speech. There he is, 7-2, and it is William Buick aboard.
Okay, there you go.
Yep. But am I wrong? Did he say somebody's killing him? What did he say?
The sun was like the way the sun was setting in there.
What?
Yeah, it's like super dark here. So at first I was like, "What is that?" But then I realized he's not. Okay.
10 Happy Rose 30-1 gets post 11. Yeah. So Notable Speech. Good draw, right, Jared?
Yeah. I'm debating single with this one.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
And I get why it's a tough race, but with the way you look at that sequence, you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to make some decisions.
Chili Flag 20-1. Johannes the 9. That's a good horse. 9-2.
I was wondering what the price on Johannes was going to be.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price. Then the 7 Porta Fortuna. And that horse will be 4-1. So there you go. There's the field of 12. That is a fantastic race.
That's a banger.
It's really, really, really good.
A couple fillies in there. It's a very good race.
Mm-hmm. What makes it super interesting is you have some really good horses in it. So meaning like you could get away with a single if you have that opinion. You know what I mean? Like some of those races and like the last one, you're like, shit. I mean, I guess maybe, but this one's like Carl Spackler could be a single. Like if you really think he is the goods, obviously Notable Speech. Port of Fortuna, whatever it is. Like you can make cases for if you need to go there, which also makes the race very tough. But you have to have an opinion there.
You also get Chili Flag at 20-1 when she's never been anywhere near that price since the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational.
That's an insane price.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like More Than Looks is a pretty good horse. That's 20-1 in that race, like, and that's it's gonna be good. Like I said, Diego Velasquez. If you like that horse, you're like, holy shit, 8-1. That's amazing.
I mean, 4-1 Port of Fortuna. Ian just mentioned it. And 4-1's a great price on Port of Fortuna too, if you like her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would agree with that as well. All right, folks. Brittany Ayrton up for the last time today. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I know there's a lot of Seize the Gray fans in the chat, so we're getting ready to see where he's going to break and what morning line he will be. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, no, he probably. What do you think? This is going to be interesting as far as there's some good horses, at least some horses that will take some money in here.
Either you guys think it's funny that they put this one last after everyone just shits on this race every year? It's like, we'll just throw it as the last race on the card.
I told Jared it feels like Belmont Stakes, where the 14th race is just a throwaway race. It's like, okay, we go to the parking lot now.
Isn't it like a lot of years? Isn't it one of the first on Saturday?
Yeah, it was because that was race 4 or 5 last year.
Yeah, it's like a filly mare sprint or this one. I always feel like is one of the first ones.
So there's Seize the Gray. He will break from post 6 and he'll be 10-1. Seize the Gray 6, Domestic Product 9, Muth 10, Pipeline 13.
No chance that horse is 10-1.
No,
no chance.
No, I would agree. Tumbarumba.
Hey, scratched out last week when he would have won to run 8th here.
It's 30-1 this week.
Yeah.
There you go. 30-1 on Tumbarumba. The 2 T.O. St. Denis. I was told he wasn't running. Okay. 30-1.
So we can't believe anything here, Halterman.
Well, they said the vets probably aren't going to pass him, but I guess they did.
Give it time.
Yeah.
They can.
Saudi Crown has got to be the favorite, right?
I think
5-2. I think Saudi Crown's like 5-2.
I think so. Mufasa 12-1. 3-1. I'd say the favorite is, but no, Saudi Crown is not the favorite.
What?
Really?
Saudi Crown draws the rail and is 5-1.
Great draw for Saudi Crown.
Yep. Go.
Ready, go.
T.O. St. Denis was
Dr. Venkman. Like, is that going to be the? I'm trying to looking at the.
Venkman is not running.
That's the problem. You go through like the pre-entries and you're like, okay, who's in, who's out? What are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to just think who is for 7-2. Are we really going to have Domestic Product be the favorite?
Yes, I think that's what it's going to be.
Oh, that's gross.
Katana. Whoops.
Can you imagine earlier in the year saying Domestic Product's going to be a favorite in the Breeders' Cup? Like, that's just that's wild.
30-1. 3 Full Serrano. 15-1. Yeah, I think that's going to be the favorite. I can just look up and down this thing.
I don't see anyone else that should be lower.
Nope. Post time 12-1. Post
Skippy 11.
14. Skippy Longstocking. Skippy Longstocking 4-1.
Okay.
Somebody's got to be right. And then Cagliostro 30-1.
That's high.
That's too high.
I'm not saying the horse wins, but he will outrun 30-1.
I would agree.
Wow.
All right.
Well, this will be a fun one.
I see why they made it the last race. No, it's like you guys said though. This late pick 5 is going to be insane. It's just going to be so difficult with these 3 races back to back to back. And this one, like, I'm probably not playing Domestic Product. Just quick glance here. Obviously, want to go through everything a little bit, but if you're leaving out the favorite in this one and I'm not playing Skippy out of the 14 at 4-1 in a mile race either. So like then all of a sudden you're looking at least the 3rd favorite as your top pick.
Yeah, I mean, And that's just it. Like, so we have kicking things off with the classic if you're doing the pick 5, which is just insane, right? Kick things off with the classic, but that's one where you could make a case for like, okay, I have a pretty strong opinion in that one, but you're gonna have to, because the sprint and then the mile and even if the dirt mile is just you know better than anybody, so much. At some point, you just have to take a shot and be like, listen, I have a strong opinion against one of these favorites, and I'm not going to use it at all.
Yep. Let's click over to the classic. I haven't seen it yet.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Where did Arthur's Ride drive? The 12. Okay.
12. Yep.
Interesting. Fierceness is City of Troy should be the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Fierceness second choice. I mean, do you guys agree Fierceness is the best U.S. horse in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the morning line here. I think it's probably about right.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised.
I'm surprised Next is 8-1.
Yeah, I would have had Ushba at a shorter price than Next. But outside of that, I don't have a huge issue with it.
Yeah.
I like Forever Young at 6-1. I think that's fair.
Does a U.S. horse hit the try?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
I think somebody will. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be interesting. See what fierceness we get. So who's the second best U.S. horse if you take out Fierceness?
Oh, it's a great question.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's Next or Arthur's Ride, and I don't know which one it is.
Yeah,
so.
it's one of those two. Sierra Leone would be up there as well.
It's. I'm not joking. I'm not joking when saying this. Are we sure it's not Tapit Trice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Sandwich has been drinking. Okay, listen.
I'm just saying, like the U.S. contingent is not phenomenal. It could be Senor Buscador too.
I mean, here's the thing, like, and that's a good segue. On their best day, like, let me ask you this, Samich, because I honestly don't know what you would say. If Fierceness runs the Fierceness race, the Travers race, right? He runs that race, regardless of what anyone else does in the race. Does he win?
I'm going no, because I think City of Troy might be a freak.
Okay.
And City of Troy could be that good. But he is first or second if he runs back to the Travers. Yeah. I do think that would be a very difficult race to beat. If he can run back to that, or can run back even to like the Florida Derby where he was just absolutely dominant but with nothing behind him. Like, those races are phenomenal on paper. And you would think you're going to get a pretty good fierceness effort here off the layoff. But I mean, for a while there, it was yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. We've got two yeses back to back. And so now do you believe that that's a pattern and this horse is just going to keep running the A race, or are you going to get one of the clunkers?
That's the $1 million question, right? We knew that. I know I would sure have liked that to know that before the Kentucky Derby. It's just, part of me, you will always have that. I can't. Arthur's Ride at 15-1 is super appealing. I'll say that. They'd go out there and steal it.
My only problem with Arthur's Ride is the race you point to is the Whitney, right? But they sealed that track right before that race, and then if you watch the rest of the card, every horse went gate to wire after. And so, I'm worried that Saratoga sealed track just carried him and made that race look a lot better than it actually was. But it was a phenomenal race. Don't get me wrong. I'm just concerned that it might have gotten pumped up a little bit.
He was equally as bad, as good as he was that day. He was equally as bad the next time out. That's the concern too.
Yeah. He looked great that day too in the paddock. I definitely thought he was going to run another pretty big race, and he just didn't. He just didn't show up. And the one positive I would take away from it, guys, it wasn't like he ran and got second or third and it was like, damn, they just beat him. It's like he quit at like the half mile pole, right? It's more like 6 3/4 pole. He quit. So it could be a little bit of combination of both. He may not be as good as that Whitney. He certainly, though, something happened at Saratoga the last time he ran.
He wasn't as bad as the Jockey Club Gold Cup, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
clunker for him, and we've seen him throw clunkers in before. Now
Yeah.
that was at Churchill when he didn't get the lead, so it made a little more sense to throw the clunker in there.
Mhm.
He's got to clear, right? This is mission send from that 12 post.
Oh,
Has to.
you have to.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting because look at the field here. Fierceness obviously he's kind of proven now to where he doesn't necessarily need to go right to the lead, but drawn outside next, a horse that we don't have any idea what he will be like in this caliber of race. Newgate definitely should be forwardly placed. Arthur's Ride, we know, we just mentioned him. There's 3 horses all on the outside that you got to assume are going to try to get very forward placement in this race. How's that going to shake out? Is Next going to be left hung out way out there? Because that you draw post 14, you got to make a decision. Like, we got to go, right? Because the last thing you want for a horse like that is that first time he gets this caliber of racing, gets tucked in, gets hung out wide, then he has to tuck in and gets behind horses. The next thing you know, the race is over.
Yeah, and I think with Next, they're going to have to make the decision. I think the best thing for him is we're going to have to come from a little bit further behind than we thought, because I don't think he's the type that can fly out there and get the lead, or get in a position to where he's not hung wide. So I think they're going to have to take him back a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's been running in these marathon races, right, where they're going 49 to the half, 48 to the half, 50 to the half.
Yeah,
they're going what, 46 and 4, 46 and 3 to the half here. So that's like naturally you're 6 lengths back if you run a 48. And so you kind of have to decide. I think you kind of use some of the early speed and then you tuck in behind Newgate and Arthur's Ride, and you just try and get position in that 5th or 6th spot.
Yep, I agree. I think if you send him, you're going to get him hung, and then he's just going to have to be a lot better than everybody else. And look, I get that there might be a world where that is the case, but I think his best chance is actually going to be sit back a little bit and hope that the pace comes back to him. And he's going to try to make that move that he always tries to make, and hopefully they slow down a little bit for him. I think that's his best case. And again, 14 hole, I think dictates what they're going to have to do.
It's going to be very interesting.
A question for you too, because you're a little more better on the historian side here. How many times has Appleby sent a horse to the Classic?
Appleby?
It's not a long list, right?
He's only had 20 starters, period, in the Breeders' Cup.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. That doesn't mean he's never done it, though.
Yeah, I would love to know like Appleby's dirt stats. You got to think that Appleby thinks this horse is a monster on the dirt, right?
You talking about O'Brien? You mean?
Oh, O'Brien. I'm sorry. Yeah, O'Brien.
Yeah. With O'Brien.
Well, O'Brien,
he sent 2 or 3 that I can remember into the Classic. One of them got 2nd. One of them got 3rd. I cannot remember that. Declaration of War, I think was the name. I've got 3rd with Will Take Charge and Mucho Macho Man, I think. But other than that, I can't think of any off the top of my head that he sent to the Classic.
But to piggyback it or to go off that, and Halterman, once you flip over to the turf real quick, because we've talked about this on Blinkers Off as well. It's like it's a $5 million race, the turf is, versus a $7 million race. If City of Troy's in this race, Samich, is he 6 to 5? Even money. It's like, so the fact that he's bypassing, he didn't even enter the horse, didn't have a second choice in this race, nothing. Like, we're going to the Classic. That's what we're doing. It just, Aiden O'Brien's won this race before. He's brought on incredibly good horses. $5 million race. He's probably even money when they hit the post, and they just don't even do it. And so that, to me, it says more about anything than that whatever his odds are in the Classic or how many times he's ran a horse over here. It's like that, to me, tells you everything.
Well, that's kind of part of the point, right? It's like what did they pass up, which is running in the turf, to do this? And like how much do you believe in the horse? It's also he's 3 years old too, to put him in the Classic first time dirt at 3. It's just there's a lot of interesting decisions being made to put this horse in the Classic, and all of them point to they think the horse is a monster. And that kind of makes you a little more concerned, right? Because it's like, man, like, is that your single? Are you worried about 1 or 2 of the Japanese horses? Like, I'm probably not playing Fierceness at 3 to 1. I would rather go like 2 deep with City Troy and Ushba and just say, okay, if Fierceness freaks, then so be it. But it's like, it is hard not to be scared of City of Troy because of the decisions made by the connections.
Yeah, I think the city of Troy talk is everything you're saying spot on. And I just, as a gambler, for me, I do think he is going to be overbet. I just
Yes,
think that's just the fact. And if you want to bet him, you're just going to have to realize that that's going to happen
Yeah.
because there's nothing. It's twofold. There's nothing on his resume that says he's ready to go win in a mile and quarter race on the dirt in the United States. But that's
correct.
not really his fault. He hasn't been asked to do anything similar to that, right? But like you said, the perspective of Aiden O'Brien's not dumb, number one, and he's 3-5 in a $5 million race if he enters, and he said he went for that. It does tell you there's a side of it that's why he's going to be bet, and that makes sense. So. I mean, I think you can look at it both ways, and you're not wrong either way you look at it. So, if you want to bet him, you have to choke down the price because he's going to be heavily bet.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, he's better to single in the pick fives than bet to win, most likely based on the price.
I would say that's more than accurate. Yeah, yeah. Because look, I think he'll get bet down here. Let me put the classic back up here now. I think if I could find it, I think he'll get bet down. Off of what is he 5-2? Yeah, I think he's going to be like 9-5. There you go.
Yeah.
This he has a older brother, same mother, same father, never run on dirt either. No horse out of the dam has ever touched dirt.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's what wins, the top or the bottom, right? I mean,
yeah,
Justify obviously can do it and has produced horses that can do it. The bottom half, not so much. So 50-50. I will say this. I think there's a world he handles the dirt and still gets beat.
I mean, it's a salty field.
I
mean, because then if he does, you're like, well, you got to count that Fierceness doesn't run as good as he can. That some of those Japanese horses, right, don't as well, and so there's just a lot of question marks that he's going to have to get past, even if he does run well.
You ask Samich if Fierceness runs his A race, can he be beat? I don't really think so. And I think that's, where two handicappers can differ, and, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If that happens. But I really think if he runs how he did in the Travers, I don't know that City of Troy will be able to beat him. When you're talking about a horse that has ran on the dirt a bunch, he's in really good form. And you got a horse. What if City of Troy, it takes him a half mile to get his feet under him, and then he gets his feet under him and he runs second? Well, did he run a bad race? No, but it's like if you watch Sovereignty yesterday at Churchill Downs, Dennis and I were talking about this. Sovereignty won the stakes at Churchill, the Derby prep, and looked great. It was a half mile before that horse could stand up on that track, though. He was climbing the whole time. And then once he got his feet under him, he ran a great race. Well, that could happen with City of Troy. Maybe it takes him a minute to adjust. And when he does, he might be too far behind or this or that, so that's stuff you worry about with him. And with Fierceness, it's basically, well, is he going to show up or not? Because if he does, you don't have any other worries.
I got the perfect head-to-head bet. Tapit Trice versus Sierra Leone. That's so good.
I'll take Sierra Leone.
Yeah, well, it'll be easy to follow the two. That's for
exactly.
Sure. They'll be right next to each other.
Yep, they'll be in the back, and then these two idiots. Which two of these idiots will want to go? And yeah,
is Rosario on either?
You going Sierra? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah.
Can we throw Senor Buscador in there? A little
three-way. All right. Yeah, let's see that. It's a closer special. We'll see. We'll see who closes the other.
I'll tell you guys this about Sierra Leone, and don't get me wrong, he is beyond frustrating. But I would venture to say those last two races up at Saratoga, he improved greatly from what he had been running, and he still couldn't win because in the Jim Dandy, he ran into Fierceness, and he's just never going to beat Fierceness. If Fierceness fires, it's never going to happen because he can't catch him. And then last time out, he got beat by Fierceness and Torpedo Anna, but he was right there close with them. And those are the two horses that could win Horse of the Year going into this thing. So I think he actually improved up at Saratoga over the summer, and it just doesn't show on paper. So I actually have confidence that he's going to run well. I don't think he's going to win. I don't think you should bet him to win. I don't think he's horrible though.
I'll say this, and we'll wrap it up here in a second, but you guys can laugh it off. There is a world that Sierra Leone could win here. Like is it likely? Is it a world I want to live in? Not really, but I think it. I mean, he's ran good every time, and he feels like that horse that he runs his race and you're like, son of a bitch. He finally ran that race. Now, do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. But I do think 12-1. I think that's it's probably what he should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he beat, air quotes, beat Forever Young in the Derby, right? He was raced with fierceness or close to fierceness. Never was going to beat him, but close to him in both of those Saratoga races. And you're getting 4x the price, double the price of Forever Young, right? So you could make a price argument where simply he's been there long enough, and we'll see what the trip for fierceness is here too. I mean, that 9-post with all the speed to the outside could put him in a very odd place. Like we could see fierceness catch and kickback around the first turn, sitting too wide, right? And then all of a sudden we have another issue of whether or not fierceness is good enough to be able to play that way.
Yeah. Before we get off here, I wanted to ask you guys, you may not have seen it yet, but I'm going to go back to Friday. So Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, Lake Victoria drew the rail. And I thought at the time that was a pretty big piece of news. What are your guys, Jared, I'll let you go first. Thoughts on Lake Victoria from the rail?
I mean, I don't get too concerned about it as much on the turf. These like long distance turf races. So I don't. I do think that is one of the few that is that good. I don't get. I think thought process is pretty damn good as well.
Drew great.
Lake Victoria, I think they're gonna need every bit of that. I mean, she got the shortest way around the track too. So I think she's just a better horse.
Samich?
I don't ever love the inside post in these 2-year-old races, just because it's you got 14 2-year-olds, and that always makes you wonder. She has got speed. In 3 of the 4 races, she was forwardly placed in Europe, and the one she wasn't, she struggled with the start. So you do have one situation where she struggled with the start. So obviously that's a little bit of a concern on the rail. But you shouldn't. She's not going to get buried down there because she at least has tactical speed. If she's not on the lead, she should be semi-close to it. So I mean, it's tough at 8-5, but I do kind of agree with Jared where it feels like it's Lake Victoria, then it's thought process, and then there's a gap. And so that's the other part of it where it's there's not 4 horses, 5 horses in here that you're I really got to use that horse. Yeah. It's kind of okay, I like Lake Victoria, or I like thought process, and then I think this price is right. And so it's an easy race to go too deep with one or the other and then play a price. But yeah, I don't disagree with being the favorite with the rail, but it does put a little bit of concern just because you do have that one missed break. But the fact she has more speed than most Europeans, I think it's definitely a positive.
Yeah, I agree. I just know when it happened, I said out loud, this could be a little bit of the first major news story. And then same question, but with East Avenue, he drew the rail as well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Jared, I'll go you first again. How do you feel about that? Because that was another one where I went, ooh, that may not be the best, but go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, that one, I mean, again, on turf, especially with I feel like a standout, I don't tend to be too concerned. Whereas this one, I mean, I like East Avenue, no doubt, but I like several in this race. And so that is a little bit of concern. It could be one of those angles too, where it's you just need that little bit of, I don't know, enough to where I'm going to go against, especially at 5-2. I would. It's funny. I'm just looking at it for the first time. Chancellor McPatrick all the way on the outside. Yeah. So you got the 2 favorites inside and all the way outside. I like 7. I like Gaming. They're sitting there 8-1, right? Sandwich in between them. So
yeah, Gaming certainly won the draw. There's no doubt about that. So how much? What do you think about this?
I think it's interesting. The getaway car is sitting in the 2.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think East Avenue's life could get really tough really fast.
Yep.
Agree.
Yep.
It's a horse that's gone 21-4 opening quarter, 22-1 multiple times when sprinting. And if you like gaming, feels like the Baffert 1-2 move here is to send getaway car, screw East Avenue over and set it up for gaming, which would obviously make East Avenue's life a lot tougher. And if East Avenue decides to gun it out of there, then we get a real question of, hey, A, how fast is this horse? Never gone sub 22 or sub 23. Yeah. And B, what happens when this horse is third catching kickback versus in the lead, which is what he has been every single call. So I think that the draw of the 2 actually makes the draw to the 1 worse. Like if Getaway Car drew the 6, I wouldn't mind the 1 as much. But the fact that you have that other speed directly to your outside, and if Getaway Car crosses, East Avenue all of a sudden is in a very precarious position.
Yep. Yeah, you nailed it. I think that's, I mean, especially with the way this drew, I think Baffert's saying, okay, here we go. Getaway Car, my more of unlikely winner between him and Gaming. Obviously got Citizen Bull too, but like we're gonna put the pressure on East Avenue here.
I think Chancellor McPatrick comes into play even more now because of that potential situation. And I thought, even though he drew the 10, doesn't really matter. I mean, he's going to drop back anyway. So I thought, shit, he's in a good spot after this. Cause I think perfect world, East Avenue would love to be drawn outside of Getaway Car and Citizen Bull, and they can do whatever they want. And we'll kind of just do our own thing depending on what they do. Where now you're either going to have to stop and go around them, or you're going to get pressed every step of the way. So what they do will be very interesting. And like Samich said, don't think that they're not going to play games with these Baffert horses. We've seen it time and time again.
I kind of like the draw for Jonathan's Way. I expect Rosario to be up, which makes me frustrated. But that horse we saw able to close in the debut at 6 furlongs at Saratoga and then go gate to wire in the Iroquois at Churchill last time. So we can pass horses. And if we think you're going to get a fast pace, should have a better trip than Chancellor McPatrick all the way on the outside. It's just the question is, can Rosario sit him mid-pack versus dropping all the way back and trying to make one big run? Because that's not what you want to do with a 2-year-old not going a mile 16th at Del Mar.
Yep. Agreed.
Chancellor McPatrick feels like the perfect key in like the second spot. Like I could see him running like a really good race, but it's just like, yeah, it's too much. That he too much to distance. One of these horses, or too, like you gave the field too long, or too spotted them too much in Gaming or whoever, whether it be now figuring out which one wins. But Chancellor McPatrick runs his race every time. Maybe it's just not quite good enough in this case, but be a good key horse underneath.
Yep. I'll be curious to see if he's a little closer, because all the 3 races he's running are all 2 sprints and a mile race.
Yep. And Chad even alluded to that earlier this week or yesterday. I saw a press release where it's like, we think that because he's coming out of those 1-turn races, we think that he will be closer. Now, I don't know.
Well, as the president of his fan club, before he ever even started, I can comment on that.
Okay.
He works like a horse that should be not on the lead, but stalking. Yeah. He is fast in the mornings. When you watch his works, you look at his workout times, you see how he does it. He is sharp. And he is the opposite of it. And I have said it several times on several videos. Can he show speed? He should show more speed. I'll believe it when I see it now. I'm to the point where it's like, I don't know. But
they're not going 45 to the half here. Right?
Okay, I agree, but go back and watch what he does out of the gate.
He's goofy. Yeah, I know.
And
he's goofy.
Hey, and I've seen him, and yeah, I rode him in Ocala, like Kevin said, and I've seen him. I've seen him come out of the gates in a work. Guys, he breaks well. He really does. And I'm 1,000% with you guys. Everything says this horse can be a lock. He doesn't look like Sierra Leone. He doesn't work like Sierra Leone. But when he gets on a race day, he just doesn't get out of the gate. I'm with you guys. I think this horse should be mid-pack in this race. But I'll believe it when I see it, is what I'll say.
I think it's going to be this. Like if he would have, say he was in like, I don't know, 4 through 7 area, then I would maybe be like, okay, maybe they have to do it. But here, drawing outside, I don't, with all, with literally all the speed inside, like it's a big ask to be like, here, now we're going to get forwardly placed. It almost feels like perhaps they're going to break. And next thing you know is they'll hit the first turn, and where will Chancer be? He'll be the very back.
Yeah.
On the rail.
Hanging out on the rail in 10th.
Exactly. So
look, I've also said this several times on videos on the page. Brown knows this can't last. He's seen it with his own eyes. He knows he's got to get more speed into him. So don't think that, like, for me, it's like, I know he's trying to do it. I know that's not the plan, but the horse just won't do it.
Can I flip us to one more race?
Yeah, which one do you want?
The race I am most excited for is the 5th race on Saturday's card, the Turf Sprint.
Okay, yep. Turf
What
Sprint.
did this end up at?
There you go. Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. There you go.
Cogburn 7-5.
Yep.
There are some damn good European horses sprinting in here. And we have seen European horses all of a sudden sprint a lot better in the U.S. over the last 2.5 years, including a juvenile sprint winner. Brad Sell at the outside, 7-2. That's a really good horse. I was interested to see what Cogburn would be put up at, especially with AG Bullet in here, who, Silver Bullet, AG Bullet, whatever you want to call him, I think can run with Cogburn early.
Yeah.
And if that happens, it's all of a sudden a different question you have to ask around Cogburn.
I've been telling Jared this ever since the pre-entries came out. I'm like, oh, I'm so depressed. I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's like, oh, these European sprinters are really good. They came
really
over
good
here. So it's like, oh, because this is my favorite horse in training. So I really want Cogburn to win bad. But I agree. This is not an easy challenge. I do think he drew great.
And we've seen Silver Bullet go 20 or 43 to the half. 21-3, 43 to the half. And that will make Cogburn's life very, very difficult. Like even Believing, who drew the 1, I think that horse is awfully interesting, getting 12-1. Like there's like 3 or 4 Europeans in here, Big Eve's included, the 11 horse 12-1. That they're legitimate sprinters.
They're very good. They're very, very good. And it makes me very, very anxious because I really thought, okay, I don't think they'll bring much over for this one. And they brought over their best horses that they brought over in a while. So, yeah, I'll be very stressed about this race, but, this is one where, you have to look here and go, look, he is very good. He can definitely win, but it's a big time challenge.
It is very interesting, just, again, looking at it for the first time, that you have 2 of his biggest threats in those Euros being Big Evs, who won the juvenile version last year, and then Brad Sell, of course. So it's almost like they're just going to be, they get the catbird seat, they get to sit and watch what's Cogburn going to do out front, who's going to go with them. Both those horses are forwardly placed. That's how they like to run. You kind of have to be in this race. So they're not, but they don't need to get to the lead. And so it's going to be very interesting to watch. They can kind of watch it unfold. And if this thing goes nuts, then they're right there so he's going to have a big ask. I mean, here, and that's saying something because I love Cogburn, but yeah, the post position draw with those 2 on the outside is somewhat makes you a little interested.
I want to read Tara's comment just real quick. She said no Kentucky Down winner has won at the Breeders' Cup, which here's the deal. I think with that, it is concerning. However, why would they in some ways? Because the best of our country usually run in New York. And I just kind of feel like we're getting better horses running there, but we still don't have like the tip top best horses in this country. And oh, by the way, this country has a hard time winning turf races anyway, because of the European contingent that comes over. So I do think it's meaningful. I don't think it's the reason why he won't win. I would say that.
I would also say that there are Del Mar's turf course and Kentucky Downs curved course.
Very different.
Slightly different, right? Like one is undulating with a wide turn and a small turn. The other one is very, very fast and very, very tight. To me, it's hard to kind of go to say that there are very big similarities between the two. And I kind of would echo Aaron too. I think the competition at Kentucky Downs got better this year just from a top end horse because the purses got bigger. However, horses coming out of Kentucky Downs have not been running well the last few weeks. And so it definitely has to be a concern. Starlust, 30-1, the 4 horse, ran 3rd last year in the juvenile turf sprint. Missed to Believing by a nose, was only 3/4 a length behind Brad Sell last time, 30-1 in this race. There's so many interesting Europeans.
Yeah.
Are you on the wavelength that we are, so much here with? Meaning, if he does lose, it's not like even though Star Mystery kind of has a little bit of both, but he's faced him, right? If he loses, it's one of these Euros that came in and kind of beat him. Like it'd be hard to believe Arzak Notorious is going to beat him. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I would be surprised if it was another U.S. horse.
Right.
The only one that I think has if Cogburn somehow misses the break and AG Bullet clears, AG Bullet has a shot. Right? I mean, you need an exact style of race to give AG Bullet a chance. I think, man, to me, you might go too deep here and play the 1 and the 12 and just pray.
I like that.
And you have
I'm
to
not
beat
doing that,
somewhere.
but I like it.
I mean,
pray.
Just pray. It could work.
No Balls won this last year. I mean,
true.
Yeah. That's right.
I can't, and listen, he'll probably win because I don't think he can win. But Star Mystery just feels like a horse. I mean, it's like, well, we know that he
feels like an underneath horse.
He got completely smoked by Cogburn last time. Oh, and Arzak also beat Star Mystery that day. Now he came back, ran well. He ran back twice, and the last time was a terrible trip. But I just almost like, well, we've seen the Cogburn versus Star Mystery. I don't think that necessarily I saw enough to be like, oh, he can turn the tables.
Yeah. Could someone actually do this for me? Oh, not that one. This one.
I didn't.
I saw someone ask you a second ago, and I was like happy to hear that. Now, of course, Kevin's asking me. Is Ivan? I don't know.
It's a South African horse. I don't know if it's something specific to South Africa or what, but I have not heard anyone pronounce it, so I have no effing clue how to pronounce it.
Somebody way back when I was scrambling to get the name wrote told me how to say it, but that was way back in the chat. So I did not attempt it. So I don't know. It's like Izzy Givanunu or something like that.
Interesting. All right.
That could be wrong, but
I mean, what the hell does it even mean? How about we could start with that?
There it is. Yeah, I think you were. Yeah, Izzy Vungu.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not calling this race.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oops. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Go to. Can you go to the Distaff real fast?
Yes, sir. Distaff. Let's see. What would that be?
You're doing a great job.
I think it's that one. There you go.
4 to 5. Wow. All right. Yeah.
Do you guys kind of wish she was in the Classic?
I mean,
I would have made it. Yeah.
Would have made it like insane, like absolutely. But I also feel like we know what would have happened because she couldn't even beat Fierceness last time. So,
I mean, she ran her all eyeballs out in that race, though.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, does she deserve to be in the Classic? Yes, I mean, probably so. But that was their shot, I feel like. And now they have a legit chance of winning Horse of the Year with her, I think, if she were to win here and Fierceness doesn't win the Classic. And so I don't blame them, really. But I would have liked it. Would have been nice to see Idomatic in here, although Awesome Result is getting some buzz. Raging Sea at 7-2. It's
a choice.
Interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't bet that with your money, Samich. But yeah, 4 to 5. That's fair, right? I mean, considering Idiomatic would have taken money, so you would have gotten higher, obviously. But I don't know. I want to bet her at 4 to 5, but it's the right price probably.
I kind of agree with Rodney's take on this race. Not the 6-2 cold, but this is a great cold exacta race.
Mm-hmm.
You put Torpedo Ann on top, and if you beat Raging Sea, you're going to get at least decent value in the exacta pool with anybody else. Mm-hmm. And so I think this may be a good one where you're just like, okay, I'm going to play a cold exacta. And if you like the 6-2-6 or you like the 2-9 and you want to try and make it bigger, you just play the cold try. You go 2-6 with 2 with 6 with, and then put 2 horses there or whatever you want to do, 1 horse. But then you can create more value on the race. I do think Torpedo Ann a legit favorite.
I think it's the only race where that's what you need to do. I mean, you have the option to any race to do that, but this is one where that's how you need to play it, unless you're going to try to beat her, and then you can do whatever you want. But with this race, if you like her on top, then that's how you're going to have to play it.
Yeah, I remember 2/1 or 2/9, something like that. Yeah. I mean, 2/9 is it pretty? That would be like the second option, I would imagine.
Yeah, 2/1 is interesting.
The first time I ever played the BCBC was 2020, I think, or maybe 2021. What was her name? The 10 horse. I can't remember her name, but she was a huge favorite in the race. It was at Keeneland. You guys remember? It was the COVID Keeneland year.
Yeah, 2020 that would have been, and it was the Distaff. Oh, it was Monomoy Girl.
Monomoy, yeah.
Monomoy Girl was 4-5. I played the cold exact. It paid $21.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 12-1 underneath.
It was a Pletcher horse. I can't remember its name.
You know that, but it was one of those where it's like if you just avoid a couple of the favorites, even if you put that big time favorite on top, and this feels like a race where you can find someone you like for that second place and still get 15-20-1 if you find the right horse.
Yeah.
I actually don't hate this logic from Curtis. 9-2 cold, like basically saying Awesome Result beats her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't actually kind of like that because I do feel the most not confident, but if she were to get beat, like she'll probably run pretty well, and it would have to be like a horse like Awesome Result who's getting a ton of hype. So yeah, I would play that versus 6 over 2 for sure. Regency over her.
Yeah.
Valiance was the second horse.
Valiance, that's right. Yep. Gray horse.
Yeah, and it was Swiss Skydiver that you were trying to avoid.
Yep.
Because it was clear 1-2, and then if you didn't use 1-2 in that order, you got anybody else. You're getting a good price in Exacta.
Yep.
Man, what the Ollie's Candy CC? What a race!
CC came back the next year to win the sprint.
All the old friends.
Yeah.
Filly mare sprint. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Good times. The COVID year, Jared and I sitting there with like 20 people at Keeneland watching it. That was so wild that year. What a year. I wish it was like that every year.
That was amazing. We were so spoiled because then we went back the next time and we're like we have this bar, this secret bar. Like it was so easy to get drinks. And then we go back and like, oh, this is normal. This is what it's like normally now.
Yeah. We literally sat in a section where we were the only 2 people in the section. It's like, wow, this is the Breeders' Cup. The best horses in the world are running, and we're here with this. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, that was wild.
Next time there, you had to play football in the parking lot.
That's
for an hour
right.
to wait for the traffic to clear out.
Equally as fun.
Equally good time.
Maybe more fun. Actually.
Maybe that night was top 5 my whole life, I think. So
what night?
And that's why it was top 5 of my life right there.
Exactly.
So we don't see that much out of Mr. Samich, but it was a fun night. Fun night.
It's a damn shame we didn't get to that barbecue though.
Those guys thought we were coming too.
Yeah, they had the grill ready.
Yeah, boy, it would have been good at that time of night too.
Oh man. I did see some questions. We will have John White on. We were still, I think, scheduling that, but we'll probably have him on Wednesday as a kind of preliminary guess. Have you heard any confirmed times with him?
He kind of wanted to do it Tuesday, but we can do it Wednesday if that's needed too.
Okay, well, either one. I didn't know if Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll obviously do Breeders' Cup. I mean, Blinkers Off on Thursday.
Yeah.
And we all know we got to dedicate a show to John,
right?
Or else it'll be a 10-hour show. So, yeah, I imagine it'll be either tomorrow or Wednesday. Look for it being scheduled, Kevin, or check the website. We'll have that posted as well.
Yep. All right. Anybody got anything else? Or are we ready to get to work?
I mean, you kind of wanted to get over so I can start handicapping now. So
I'm with you. I got videos to do and got handicapping and betting Bibles. So, all right, I'm gonna sign us off.
Before we do though, let me ask both of you, top bottom, like overall. I know so much you haven't seen all of it. Like I haven't really seen the total cards yet. But Halterman, you were here to the whole thing. How do you feel about the Breeders' Cup now that the post positions are drawn? The odds are out, everything's set now. And now the work gets done. Like how, the hype was there. Do you feel like it's living up to it so far?
Yep. One of the best ever, I think. I don't think we've got the American Pharaoh or the Flightline total headliner, although it maybe could happen still in the Classic, but I think top to bottom, it's one of the best ever. And yeah, I'll have a video out probably in about an hour talking about the top 5 Breeders' Cup races for this year. Going to do that one first, and then some previews for you guys as well. But end of the day, I'm pumped. I think it's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is. From a competitive standpoint, it's a 10 out of 10. Like we're not going to have a bunch of horses 6-5. Like that last Keeneland one, I remember there were 8 horses that were going to be even money or less that we were projecting on Thursday before the Breeders' Cup through the 13 Breeders' Cup races, and we're going to have one. It's Torpedo Anna. That's it. That's the list. That's going to be even money or worse through the whole weekend. And that makes it a phenomenal betting weekend. And like even looking at the sprint where it's like, well, Cogburn's your second shortest price in the entire weekend at 7-5. Guess what? There are like 5 horses that could beat him in that race. He may very well win, but that race, you could still make an argument where if he doesn't, it's absolutely wide open behind him. And I probably won't even have him on top. So to me, this is one of the better betting Breeders' Cups we've seen in a while. Star power wise, I think we have to wait to find out. I think that's one of the most intriguing parts about this, because you've got Torpedo Anna, who is star power. You've got Cogburn, who is coming off a world record at Saratoga over the summer for the distance on the turf. Never know what he's going to be able to do. You've got City of Troy. You have Fierceness. Like there are horses that could be that horse, but we don't know yet. And so you kind of have to see whether or not that storyline pans out on Saturday, which I think is as compelling as watching Flightline romp by 16 and when you knew he was going to romp by 16.
Well, here's the thing, and maybe it's unlikely. We'll find out, but maybe there's no Flightline, but maybe there is. I mean, City of Troy could be otherworldly. Like that's the way that. Now again, like he's going to be done after this, but just he's world known. I mean, he's obviously this world class horse. He's been, he's won all the races you want to win. Comes over here, Aiden O'Brien. If you say he runs well and dominates, even like he becomes talked about like a Flightline. Maybe he's not as good as Flightline overall. We could have that debate another time, but I think you're right, Mitch. I think their star power is potentially almost up there with some of the best as far as those go if the Classic runs. Now, if Sierra Leone wins, then we can have another conversation about that.
But we'll go back to value.
It's certainly there. I think we have a couple in there as well. And honestly, look at Fierceness. I mean, he could be one of the better 3-year-olds that we've had in recent years come in through the Breeders' Cup. So there's a lot of potential.
Yep. It's like I said, it's one of the best ones I can remember. And I think that's fair what Samich said. It definitely could be. We definitely could at the end of it go, well, there were a bunch of stars. They just needed to kind of go prove themselves. Yeah.
Is there a Knicks go in the cards for you guys? A 3-1 horse that's absolute single hammer type horse? I don't have one. Just to get out in front of that question. I did not see one with through the races I've seen yet, but is there a 3-1 shot you're really confident in?
I can't say. I really wanted to do the Appleby in the Breeders' Cup Mile. I really like that horse, Notable Speech. But that field is so challenging. But going into it, that's one that I had kind of circled.
I'll tell you Thursday. How about tune in to Blinkers Off on Thursday? I need to look through it again. I try hard not to have too many strong opinions about anything until the actual fields come out, because it changes things when you actually see who's running, where they're at, who's riding them, stuff like that. So
real quick, Kevin B. No, we're not going to Thistledowns this week. We're actually going to go to Parks. They've got the Philly 5. It's a carryover jackpot pool, which we love to play all the time. No, we'll be doing the late pick 5 from the Breeders' Cup. Well, actually, Magic hasn't told me because he said it was going to be the penultimate pick 5. So I don't know if we're going to do the late pick 5 or the penultimate pick 5, but it will be 5 races, including the Breeders' Cup Classic on Thursday for us. 1 to 2 Pacific, 4 to 5 Eastern.
All right. It should be a big week for the channel. There's a lot going on. The website, the channel, all of it. We're gonna have a lot of stuff. Just tune into the YouTube channel. We'll start talking eventually. That's kind of how it's gonna go. So
kind of a big week. Guys,
go ahead.
Says it's kind of a big week. So yeah, you'll see us a lot.
Yep, time to get locked and loaded. All right, I'm going to end it because we got work to do. So, guys, thank you all for joining us. Thanks for you two jumping on here. And look, we got a lot going on. There's a lot happening. We've got the fields. We're awaiting the past performances. Those should be out any second. So thanks, everybody, guys, for joining us. And stay tuned to the channel all week long.